Previously on Books on Toast. We have to save her!
This is not your island. This is our island.
We have to save him!
Where are we going? Where are we going with this?
We have to save it!
You don't understand. He's dead.
The explosion's about to explode!
I'm pregnant.
That was the explosion that exploded!
No, that was a fart.
Oh no. The point is, none of that happened. But the other point is that we did that because today we are discussing TV shows, or more specifically, books that became TV shows. I can't. Oh, Anuya, I for one can't think of a single book that has become a successful TV show.
Oh, I wonder which one we could talk about first.
I know. I wish that my favorite TV show, Game of Thrones, was based on a book.
I know, me too.
Oh my God!
Oh shit!
Wait, it's a book?
What is this we have here?
What fair we people?
Yes.
Who are you?
Oh, hi.
Right, let's start there.
Hi, sorry. Yes, hi. My name is Rohan, and I'm here because I'm a friend of Sharon and Anuya's. And oh, by the way, speaking of this, Sharon, this is Anuya. This is their show. They host it, and we are at the Coco Club.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Nice.
There we go. Are you happy? Are you happy now?
Yes.
Are you happy? Said the name.
But
of the
Rohan,
place. Yes.
why don't you tell the people who are watching this what you do for a living?
Yes.
So what I do for a living is I work with a company called
my
AIB.
dad, basically.
And yeah, for your dad. So uncle, I work with a company called AIB, and I am a comedian, and we do online content, and we do live shows, and basically we get paid occasionally for being funny or attempting to be funny, and that is my job. And I am also on social media a lot as Mojo Rojo, an identity that people know better than my actual name.
Yeah, we'll put all those links in the box.
All about him, yeah.
Never lose the opportunity to pimp your own social media handles.
Which should be lesson number 1 for our podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Put yours also in this here,
Yeah,
right,
we
here, right
will.
now.
It's
There we
right
go.
now.
It's done.
We're littering our windows.
Yes. There we go.
So,
Yes.
So we were on this show, you say, is based on a book.
Yes.
Called Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Is it also a song?
Is it a song?
is it a
Is it a song? It's a song of Ice
Song
and
of
Fire.
Ice and Fire.
But yeah, so we're here to talk about TV shows based on books, and this has become the hot new thing. For
Yeah,
a lot of
it is,
channels
right?
and
It's
this
funny.
thing.
So this year I was reading a BuzzFeed listicle because what else?
is there?
Which said
Journalism.
that 17 books are being turned into TV shows in 2017.
That's crazy because
17
yeah,
shows
because
in
everybody
17.
knows only 18 books were written in 2016. So if that 17 of them are becoming shows in 2017, I
Yeah.
The
think
18th book must be really bad.
it was my autobiography. And no one wanted to option it.
Mojo Rojo.
Mojo Rojo.
Because
A life in cat pictures. It was stellar. It was very nice. But,
cartoon based on your life would be Powerpuff Girls, no? Because you're Mojo Rojo.
Oh, jeez.
done. You weren't kidding about the jumping into the puns.
No.
This thing. But yeah, so 17 shows just
17
this year.
shows. Yeah.
Based on books.
So, and the one that we are the most excited about, which is why we are doing this actually,
Yes.
is American Gods.
Yes.
Gaiman!
American Gods. Do that again.
Gaiman!
You can keep looping this to the episode whenever you want now. That's the joy of doing that. Yes, American Gods, one of my favorite books of all time. And I'm very cynical in terms of whenever my favorite books are turned into anything because we've all been hurt before, right guys? We've all been hurt before.
It's tough.
We've all been
And
hurt
shows
before.
have been cancelled and you're like, but the book is not over yet.
Exactly, right? Like, and no, it goes for so many things, not just
Yeah.
TV show book. Like Harry Potter books significantly superior to the
the
films.
movies,
Like
yeah.
significantly.
True.
It's not even this thing.
Bad casting.
I feel like this could be a separate episode
It
just
is,
about like
yeah,
what
yeah.
went wrong with the Harry Potter movies.
So many.
But on so many levels, right?
Yeah.
I think the book significantly superior to the movies. What else? Where we've been burned before.
Percy Jackson was where I was burnt the most because Annabeth was a brunette, which pissed me off so much because
Right.
she's known for her blonde curly hair.
Right, and
Yeah. And stormy grey eyes.
And it goes all the way from like your literary classics that people
Yeah.
want this thing to Jack Reacher. Where the pissed offness was that in the
Patla.
books, literally like one of the first things that's written in the books is that Jack Reacher is like 11 feet tall and like eats people the size of Tom Cruise for breakfast. This is my understanding of
Oh,
Jack
yeah,
Reacher from what
exactly.
little I've read.
Absolutely.
And then and it was so sad because when they said Tom Cruise will make Jack Reacher, literally everybody's first reaction was क्या रे बटले तू क्या मतलब तेरे नाम में Reacher है क्योंकि तेरे को सब चीज के लिए रीच ही करना पड़ता है बटले.
Reach for the
Literally the entire reaction of the internet was just that. But I mean, fair. You can't mess with the character so much. Though I will say, I like the first Jack Reacher movie. Not the second one, but the first Jack Reacher movie was fun. But yes, to get back to the point, American Gods, Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Very, very excited because
Cast
is there a trailer that's
so
out?
well.
You
cast
know,
phenomenal. There is a
not
trailer
seen
that
the
is
trailer.
out.
Who's
There is
playing
a trailer
Shadow?
that's out. Isn't Ian
which one
McShane playing? No, he's not playing Shadow. Ian McShane is playing Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember his name. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Is the
Black
trailer
guy.
everything that it promises
Yeah,
to be?
yeah.
Yes,
everything.
it is. It actually is everything it promises to be, and it better be good because last year I was very badly burned by the Preacher
Oh, I hated
TV
it.
show. It was terrible. It was terrible, and I was so excited about it because like Seth Rogen.
And
AMC.
Evan
Gotham
Goldberg,
also. Gotham
AMC.
was also really shit.
So Gotham was terrible,
Yeah.
but I have to confess here.
I'm watching it.
No, I have to confess here. I have no shame in this game. My current favorite 4 shows on TV are Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. I have no qualms in saying this because Monday to Thursday, after a hard night at work, this is just the best. This is
The bad DC.
the good DC. This
The
is
bad.
the good
Flash
DC.
is the only good
this
DC.
is the good DC. The bad DC is the movies. The movies are the bad DC.
No.
Yes.
Arrow is
Yes.
very boring.
Listen, Arrow the first. Okay, now agreed. It's
Arrow
gotten a
mein
bit
ho
interesting.
kya raha hai? It's so much shit,
but
man.
one sec. Arrow, the first 2 seasons were outstanding. Like really, really
What?
good. Yes, they were outstanding by the metrics of the show. Given that it's a CW show.
You mean it's like
given
that?
that it's all of
Yeah.
those things. Given that it's all of those things geared for
Yeah.
teens.
But I like Flash.
I love the
For
Flash.
those
I
same
love
reasons.
the Flash.
Like,
exactly.
given that it's a CW
Sorry,
show.
Daredevil is which one? Marvel or
Daredevil
DC?
is Marvel.
Marvel.
And this
Daredevil,
is-
I love Daredevil.
But this is why I like DC TV, right? Because Marvel, especially with Daredevil and Luke Cage, they're like, let's get dark.
Yeah, too
Let's get
intense.
serious.
Yeah.
Let's get intense. And that's been a trend since, basically, ever since Nolan did the Batman
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
It's been like superhero movies have to be like these. What
Dark
is
and
this to
brooding,
say
yeah.
about my character and who I am as a person and all of those things? But
But also
that,
he's very hot.
sure, but one could argue that so is Grant Gustin.
Yeah, I love him. Oh my god,
there we
he's
go.
so
There we go. There we go.
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Barry ke ped.
I regret everything. Like not just coming, I regret the day you joined the same college as me.
It's
Like
so-
on the basis
No,
of that
you
pun. I do.
don't.
I do.
You
That's how
love
terrible that
me.
pun was. But the point is, I remember there was this one reviewer who said this since you mentioned the Flash particularly, and since you mentioned Arrow. Given that the DC verse also started off slightly darkish and brooding with the Arrow, I think one reviewer put it best. He said, "What I love about the Flash is that it's a show that's always reaching for the light.
Yeah.
Like it's a much brighter show. It's a much happier show, and
Yeah.
it's just nice to see a show based on a comic book
Yeah.
that feels like it knows कि हाँ I
There is
come
some
from
comic book.
pulpy material
Yes,
where
yes,
the entire point
yes.
of my existence is कि लोग fast भागता है.
Yeah.
Like बस and technically
That's
fast
true. It's
भागने से
simplistic.
like
It's
yeah
less,
literally
yeah.
like fast भागने से you can save the whole world.
And anything, all
Literally.
science is possible. Any
All,
time
everything is
travel
possible. Everything is possible.
Everything is possible. But
Speed.
yeah. But coming back to American Gods.
American Gods. Extremely excited because it's very deft, very complex material. So you were asking who's playing Mr. Wednesday.
Yeah,
if I'm
Mr.
not
Wednesday.
wrong, Ian McShane is playing Wednesday.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, so I think Ian McShane is playing Wednesday. And I'm
I know that Emily Browning
it
is
releasing?
Laura.
There we go.
When is it releasing?
April 30th.
You want to talk about all the things we hope American Gods TV show is from the books?
I'll tell you
Like what
yes.
should they completely not get wrong? Because they will
That,
get something
that,
wrong.
Everything.
that
That's
belief
a- yeah.
monologue.
Yeah?
That monologue
Yes.
on
Yes.
belief.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that, I have a feeling they'll. I don't know what they'll do.
I don't
if
know
they
how.
know
Like I'm scared.
yeah,
for
if
that.
they know
Yeah.
well enough, then they will not touch that. That will be reproduced as it is in the book. But which is also tough to do for a show, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like a really
Yeah.
long monologue.
I'm
That's a
actually.
whole episode. I feel like. That
Yeah,
could
it's
be.
Yeah, oh,
It
it could be. It could be. It could be. I'm just very curious to see how they handle the scene in which the succubus just sort of
Yes,
swallows that dude
yes,
whole
yes.
during sex because
Yes.
I started reading that.
Are there too
And I
many
remember-
spoilers?
No,
there's not a
This is
spoiler.
early on in the book. This is
Yeah,
early on
yeah.
in the book. It's just a tiny portion of the book. It's early on. But it's just as a scene because, see, here's the thing, right? When you read, okay, put Game of Thrones aside, which in
Yeah.
itself very unique, brutal, this, that. But
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but once I start reading a fantasy book, I'm in general expecting the tone of it to be a lot lighter, And like in a fantasy book, I'm like, happy things will happen. Like one orc will come from, one orc will come from somewhere, one Boromir will die, but overall, good and happy things will happen.
But Lord of the Rings ends sadly.
Lord of the Rings ends sadly, but other than that, yeah, but even they disguise their sadness
Tall
so
kid,
much.
Chi-chi.
Yeah, it's not like nobody dies. You just go to the west.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is. It's just like, beta, kutta kahan gaya, wo farm pe, but like, it's that. It's that. Lord of the Rings is basically that. It really disguises. I know, but I'm just saying, like, Lord of the Rings, that's how it disguises its sadness. But American Gods, I started reading that bit where this guy is having sex with a succubus, and suddenly, like, one page later, she ate him.
Also.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how that's
nice.
translated to like visual, right?
And just in general, the book gets darker and darker and darker and more brutal and more brutal and more brutal. And
I disagree though. All fantasy I've read is very dark.
Really?
What network is producing it?
This is Stars, or is it
Stars.
Stars, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Stars.
I just hope they don't cancel it. Like I was really heartbroken when Hannibal was cancelled.
It's one of those things though, right? Because I assume this would be an expensive show to produce, like
Yeah.
American Gods. I can't see it being.
But it's
like,
also not a series. Like, where will they go with it? It ends where it ends. Unless they take Shadow and do like his adventures.
Unless also they don't necessarily have to do the entire book in the first season, right?
I guess.
There are lots of places to leave the story.
Gaiman has written a Shadow short story in Fragile Things.
Okay.
In one of his short story
Right.
compilations, there is a Shadow short story, which I just read. Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea about that. Yeah, there's more American Gods for me to read. That's the thing. And the other part that I'm hoping that they do not mess up is the bits in the town that he's hiding out in. Because that is some Fargo level shit.
Yeah, I wonder
That
how
goes
they do
down
it.
there. Yeah.
I am interested in seeing how they produce the book onto the
Onto the screen. I'm very, very, very curious.
I think
because-
that's one of the things that I as a reader really love to see. Like
About
I want
any
to see
book.
how things are translated.
Yeah.
Like I was really excited about Game of Thrones because The Song of Ice and Fire, the first
Right.
book was incredible. But what I really miss are the dragons, like the Targaryen history stuff,
Right.
because it's anyway in the background.
Right.
But they're not able to build that into the book, into the
So,
series.
from what I can tell, at least of the new teaser that's been released for the new season, is I feel like they're getting into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the voices in the background are stuff like Burn Them All, etc. and all of that. So I feel like they might...
on it on the 6th season, right?
Yeah, they did the whole Tower of Joy and all of
Yeah.
that, right? So I think we're going to get
Karenge.
more and more. Ho jayega,
Karenge.
I think.
See, I don't know if we should talk about Game of Thrones because
It's so overcovered, right? Like Game of Thrones is so
overcovered.
overcovered. So every time we come to Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, one person has to pull the discussion back from Game of
Correct,
Thrones.
yeah.
But just one question about Game of Thrones. Did you read the books first or the show first?
I did.
Show
I read
first.
the
Show
books
first?
But
you read
only
the books
season
first?
one.
The books first.
Oh,
So I could
did you-
really relate with those videos that came out about
Oh,
the
the red wedding, all the red wedding reaction videos.
And I
Yeah.
was like, shit, मेरे को करना चाहिए था बाद में.
Yeah, I was one of those people. I saw season 1,
And
then
then
I
I
read book 1, and then I read all the
All of
books.
them,
And by the time season 2 came back, I was like smug.
Yeah.
Oh, अच्छा, तुम्हें पता नहीं है क्या
वो
होता है?
meme है ना?
हाँ.
How do you know if someone has read Game of Thrones? They'll tell you.
They'll tell you.
fucking tell you.
Yeah, they will.
Please
It's true.
read it, please
They
read
will
it,
fucking
please
tell
read
you.
it, yeah.
But again, on Game of Thrones, last thing I have to say is just read it till book 3.
Yeah, we
Honestly, just read it till book 3.
we trashed book 4
Yeah.
the last time we spoke.
क्या था
Actually,
यार
I like book 5.
Book 5 was okay, but
Dance
book
for
3 is
Dragons.
just such a high.
oh
It's
my God.
Such a high. So much
Obviously,
happens, right?
yeah.
So much happens.
clearly.
That after that, you're just a bit like,
Yeah.
why can't you do what you did in 3, but in
Here.
every book? Like, on average, kill 4 people per book. That would be very nice.
I think he's doing that. No, the show is doing it. Now
show is
they
doing
are
it.
killing 4 people per episode.
Because, yeah, they have like 13 episodes left, right? And they have a lot of characters to move off the board.
Yeah, so bulk में मार रहे वो.
Huh, that makes
Wholesale
sense.
death.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But anyway, now move on from Game of
Moving
Thrones.
on from Game of
So you
Moving on
want
from
to
Game
talk about your favorite TV shows that have been adapted from books?
My
that you
favorite TV
felt
shows that have been
did
adapted from books?
Brilliant justice to the original.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Justice League, you know what? What are there that I'm really enjoying Legion right now.
Oh,
it's only
talking
6
about it
episodes
as well.
in. It's based on a sort of X-Men spin-off / character called Legion. It's very, very, very interesting. It is like, for my money, so far the best X-Men thing ever made. Like in terms of better than any of the
That's a
movies that have
tall
happened so far.
Yes.
Better than any of
Yes.
that. It's lovely. It's just so much fun. It's like Twin Peaks level weird.
Is it because of
Some
Dan
mind
Stevens?
fuck.
No, so that's the weird thing. Like Dan Stevens is good,
Huh.
but it's everything. It's been it's one of the creators on it is Noah Hawley, who is also the creator on Fargo season 1 and 2.
Okay.
And so already going in, you know that this is going to be a little better than the average this thing, but you have no idea because you're telling yourself, okay, based on an X-Men thing, it's a superhero thing, kya hoga? But because it's about a guy who's dealing with a lot of demons in his head, the show is extremely trippy.
It's from that point
It's
of
a
view.
lot of it is perspective from you. There's a lot of times where you just don't know what's real and not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like literally, 90% of the show that you're watching, you have no idea what's real and what's not. What's happening in his head, what's happening outside, what actually happened. Are any of the characters who he's speaking to actually there?
Like thought form,
Which one?
right?
It's very like, it's a textbook example of, like, I'm sure a lot of writers have this thing. There's that argument about books have so much internal stuff going on.
Yeah.
How do you externalize that internal thought process, right? Because so many books allow you to get internal with the character and get you into their sort of inner space, and how do you externalize that? Legion is literally 90% that. It's taking the internal and just externalizing it completely.
Wow.
But
I think Sherlock did that in season 3 also.
Yeah.
but with Sherlock it was a cheat. Right? Because you established this universe and you said that this is about
Mind
rationalism and this, that, and then suddenly you just introduced this idea of this metaphorical mind palace that felt like cheating, and they never
And you
recovered
just
from
follow,
that. Because they pulled that same shit in the finale.
I haven't seen the new season.
Only
everybody
watch
told
the
me
second
not to.
episode.
Okay.
Only watch the
I
second
think
episode.
Sherlock.
Speaking of Sherlock, I mean,
Yes, so
another
Sherlock, yeah.
adaptation. From
So
a
many
book.
adaptations.
So many
actually,
versions.
so many versions,
yeah.
right? And the first season, the first 2 seasons
Were amazing.
of the Benedict Cumberbatch version were phenomenal. It was just
Also,
nice.
they did the
changed the
most
game.
justice to the text.
Yeah.
Like
That's the
Arthur
thing,
Conan
right?
Doyle's
It was
original
just-
stories were really well
Even though it
presented.
was, modern day Sherlock, it
was
resonated
nicely
so well
updated.
with the. Yeah, it was very nice.
Did you guys see that episode where it's the original Sherlock?
Yes.
They did one with that.
The
Yeah.
I
bride.
thought it was really
Yeah,
bad.
that was a so this
Scared
thing.
me.
Really? You were scared by that episode?
Scared by that
That was the most obvious episode
scary.
on earth. Yeah. Because the first 2 seasons.
Abominable Bride.
The Abominable
Abominable
Bride.
Bride.
That was the one with the mansplaining feminism. So
Like,
awesome it
As
was.
much as I like Sherlock, I hated Elementary. I think they
I
really
really-
tried
so-
doing. Season 1 to 2 were okay, but
Okay.
then you're like, kya ho raha hai? Please,
run out of mysteries, right? I
Kuch
guess.
karo. Aur ye, this, his struggle with his father and his drug addiction and his relationship with his psychiatrist.
But it's weird you should say that, because you're saying a problem with Elementary is the fact that beyond season 2 they went into his relationship with his father and this and that. That's actually my problem with the Cumberbatch Sherlock, which is that for the first 2 seasons you got some really nicely plotted mysteries, I thought, where the focus was very much on watching this detached but still phenomenal detective just be a good detective. But somewhere around the end of season 2, it just felt like what people want to know is who is Sherlock Holmes and what is his like internal this thing. And I think on some level
try to do
it's
that
hard
with
to care because I feel like Sherlock as a character is a cipher. He's just essentially the ultimate detached rationalist, right? And that's all he
feels like
is.
a
So to
character who has no
suddenly,
empathy and no human connection.
and I
He's
feel like
very-
this is a Moffat problem. This is a Stephen
I was
Moffat
gonna say
problem
that,
because
yeah.
this has happened with Doctor Who
Yeah,
as well.
that's what he
There's
does.
this thing where he writes himself, and it's something that I think J.J. Abrams and team also did with Lost, where you write yourself into this corner by posing so many phenomenal and bedazzling sounding questions, where it's like, how could this happen? How could that happen? You're so excited by the question that you forget that you don't actually have an answer.
So
that question.
Was Lost
And-
ever a book also? Did
No,
it have a
it
companion
wasn't.
novel?
But it's
There
the
are
same.
now.
There are now.
There are companion
There are
novels?
companion novels now.
okay.
But it's the problem is with Moffat, it's just, and that's what happened I think in the final season of Sherlock for me.
Yeah.
Where it just felt like they wrote themselves into
into
so
a-
many corners that there was
no going
no
back.
way. There was no way to go back to just telling. Like, I still think season 2, episode 1, Scandal in Belgravia, is hands down one of the best 90 minutes of television ever. It's just so enthralling. And there's a point, and I keep coming back to that because there's a point at which he solves 10 cases in like the first 10 minutes of the episode, just in that, complete this thing. And then I remember I was watching season 3 and 4, and I'm like, there are episodes that go by where it feels like he doesn't solve a single case.
Yeah.
And this is such a departure.
But it's the problem, like you said, it's Moffat, right? He does a lot of style over substance.
Yeah,
He
lots
does
and
a lot
lots of that.
Dazzle,
razzle,
shiny
dazzle.
things.
Yeah.
And
Shiny
then
things, cool
suddenly
things.
you're on the other side and you're like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
Stephen King calls it, the monster
The monster behind the
door.
door. But no, it's more than the monster behind the door.
What is the monster behind the door?
So Stephen King's theory about the monster behind the door is that once you build something up enough, because it's just how it plays, right? If I tell you that behind that door, Aaron, is your worst childhood fear lurking, and the second you open it, it will attack you and you will not survive it. What you build up in your head...
Monsters Academy. Sorry.
Sure, Monsters Academy. The point is, whatever you build up in your head, will be 10 times scarier than whatever
Whatever
you
is
actually
coming out,
see once
yeah.
you see it
So you know
in
what?
front of you, because your head adds so many more dimensions of terror.
This is
to
also the
things.
fundamental problem of translating anything from text to screen. Because on
Yeah.
text, you don't have to,
You can't
can
combat
choose
it.
You
not
can
to
choose.
reveal the monster.
Yeah.
But on screen, you don't have
You
a
don't have
choice.
that option at all.
Yeah, you
So-
can't combat imagination.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
You can't.
It's true.
You can't.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but with Moffat, it's more than that. He sells you too many lies about the monster. Like at least with Stephen King, it's an expectation gap.
Yeah.
But with Moffat, it's like he'll just sell you outright lies about the monster, and then the monster that comes out is just not what he promised you at all.
So speaking of Stephen King,
yes. Speaking of Stephen King,
did you guys
yes.
watch Under the Dome?
Yes.
I did not watch Under the Dome.
I did.
I
It was
didn't.
really bad.
I didn't bother.
As amazing as the book was,
Yes. Uh-huh.
the show was so
Horrible.
shit. I mean, AXN पे आता था and very dedicatedly खोल के I'm like okay, hope against hope के first episode,
मतलब
second
basically
episode,
Dome
three
के
episode, please,
अंदर
please
टट्टी है.
redeem.
Oh, acha, it's that. That was the entire point.
Dome के
Simpsons did a
अंदर-
better job in the movie about
the dome. That's fair. Because that's so sad. Because I feel like in his post-accident career, as you
Yeah.
call it, I feel like Under the Dome was one of his
Better.
books.
It was amazing,
Because
man.
it has all his sort of hallmarks, right? A small town at war with itself and its
Yeah.
own hypocrisies.
Yeah,
Essentially, that's what it is,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what he does best, better than
But
anything else.
I
but
hated the end. It was the same. It
same,
was the
same,
monster.
same.
under-
It was the
behind
monster
door
under there.
problem.
He again wrote himself into a corner, and I think there was nothing. And with Stephen King now, I've evolved a system where because so much of his work has been cinematically developed now.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, a lot of it is shit. Like a
Yeah.
lot of, if you notice, like Stephen King, pound for pound, in terms of adaptations, probably has the most terrible adaptations of his work. Yeah, but for every single one of those, there's a lot of like.
Thinner?
terrible
Did you guys
ones.
watch
Like-
that? What was that? 11. It's a Hulu show. 11, 12.
Oh, 11/22/63,
Yes,
right?
that
That's
one.
based
Did you
on the
watch
book.
it?
I
Yeah.
watched. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
it's
heard.
What is it?
significantly.
What is
It's based on his book 11/22/63 about a guy who finds a sort of rip in time that allows him to go back to the 60s and stop the assassination of JFK, or at least that's what he wants to do. That's the beginning and that's the starting point of the premise. And it's a really, really good book. It's again vintage King. It's everything. There's an
Is
element
there
of horror,
any
drama.
Stephen King. There's another Stephen King show coming up, right?
Yeah, so
What is it?
do you know about this?
Which one
There's
now?
a show called Castle Rock.
Castle.
Really?
Castle Rock, which is J.J. Abrams and Stephen King, and it is
Oh, yeah,
the whole universe, like the universe
Nice.
that has been created by Stephen King in all of his books
All the
in one
characters.
show. Yeah, all of them.
Nice.
All of them.
Oh man.
Like
So I've only seen one text teaser, but
That's very
nice
exciting.
full
See, but that's
boner.
also one of those things. I hope it's more than just reference porn for the people
I-
who get
yeah,
the
me
references,
too.
pop
right?
culture, right?
I
At
really-
its peak, like
it's
that's
just-
what
But
that's what
it's
American.
it'll give you such a nerd boner,
Oh, dude, that. But it's got to be more than the nerd boner. It's got to be. My biggest problem is that.
We'll see how they do it.
Let's hope so, because there's this other book, Ready Player One,
Ha!
that
Ah,
everybody
Ready
is
Player One.
rapt about, right?
Yeah.
That this is the
Steven
greatest book. It's so
Spielberg.
amazing, and now Spielberg making the movie. And I read the book, and like, no offense, but it was literally just a collection of nerd references strung together.
It's like American
And that's
Horror
it.
Story, right? It's
Right.
just pop culture references of all major serial killer deaths, and that's
And
it
that's
stuck
it.
together. And you're like, but
Why? But
ये तो
why?
मैं
There needs to be
documentary
more than
देखा है.
that. Yeah, there needs to be more than that. Like,
yeah,
if you're like something, Ready Player One is like the Matrix level, this
Yeah,
thing
that's
ready
what
to
I've
be
heard.
explored.
Yeah.
But the book does nothing with it. It's just reference porn.
So it's so funny. Supriya, who came on the show, loved Ready Player
yeah.
One.
she-
Really?
Yeah, and now
she
you're
spoke
Okay.
highly about it.
This is what we mean by
Yeah.
count of views.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm completely ready to be debated on this. It was just a personal thing. Like every time I was reading it, it just annoyed me because I felt like there was a reference, and then after that there was nothing else. There was reference, and then it was like you took Lord of the Rings ka hero's journey, and you just peppered it with pop culture references. It didn't do anything new with it.
But Lord of the Rings with pop culture references sounds awesome.
That would be amazing,
Yeah.
right? That would
I
be
think
totally
the
amazing.
expectation
Like,
is
yeah.
higher than
Who
what
is
will
going to
actually
take
come
us
out.
across Mordor? Superman, huh?
Yeah, just stuff like that.
Hi.
Like Frodo being there and being like, could I be any shorter? Like, pop
be
culturing the
actually
shit out of
Flash.
it. Like,
We
pop
could
culture
try.
does a lot. Flash does a lot of pop culture references, but they
Yeah.
do it right because they just like a character like Cisco will just slip it in under his breath
Yeah.
occasionally. It's so funny that you said J.J. Abrams and Stephen King because I was just thinking about it today. That there was a time where I think J.J. Abrams wanted to do The Dark Tower.
Really?
Yeah, I remember
And-
this.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know whether the story is true or not, but I remember reading that King actually sold him the option for just $19 because 19.
Wow.
Because 19. Again, that's nerd boner. If you get 19, you get 19. But
Speaking of Dark Tower,
yes.
there is a TV show
Yes.
adaptation finally, after many years.
TV show adaptation.
TV show, no?
It's a
Movie.
movie.
Dark
It's a
Tower.
movie. Dark
Yeah?
Tower is a movie.
Oh fuck.
Dark Tower is a movie. So Dark Tower again. I am really excited because there was that new poster.
Yeah.
Which if you can show it, please show it because it's such an amazing poster. Because first you see it and you look, oh, that's the gunslinger and that's Jake. And then you look up top and there's Matthew McConaughey hiding. And you're like, oh my god, he's the man in black. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like just the idea of Idris Elba versus Matthew McConaughey.
Idris Elba is
Idris
such
Elba
a
is
great casting
Roland,
call.
such
Oh
a
my
great
God.
Roland. Like it's just, he just has to go from the set of Luther to the set of the gunslinger and change his clothes and you have the perfect character.
But
literally.
even Matthew McConaughey as the
Man
Man
in
in
Black,
Black
yeah.
is so unexpected. Like I would have never seen it, and then
It's-
now I'm like, oh, yeah.
He's just the right kind of charming
Enough
and
crazy.
also crazy.
Yeah,
Like charming
yeah.
and also insane.
Amazing.
To sort of be that. So I'm very, very,
Very
excited to see what. But I'm also cautious because I know that they've had like a very tortured development. I remember there was a time where it was supposed to be a Ron Howard movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it
I
was supposed to
remember
be a
that,
Ron
yeah.
Howard trilogy with tie-in sort of TV show episodes. Then at one point it became, shall we just do this as a TV series? Now it's become, okay, we'll do movies again, but I'm again very scared of the fact that it's just called The Dark Tower and there's no chapter name, there's no
Oh shit,
nothing.
yeah.
So I'm
But
hoping
the
they don't
first-
try to.
The first book is The Dark
No,
Tower.
it's The Gunslinger.
Oh right.
It's
yes,
the Gunslinger. The last book is The Dark Tower.
Yes, the last.
The
of
first book is The Gunslinger. So which is I'm a little worried that there's no suggestion
of the
of
series.
just how much
yeah.
or where it is because I'm guessing it might be a slightly tough sell, but like I'm really, really hoping that they at least get to the drawing of the three because one of my favorite pieces of writing, and this is just if I had to teach writing ever, it would be the naked gunfight that happens at the start of
shootout.
drawing
Yeah,
of the
the
three
shootout, yeah.
because it should not work. Something like a shootout is so visual, so kinetic. It feels like the sort of thing that you have to see on film
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it to be exciting.
Yeah.
But there's a point in that book where you're just like, what happens next? Why am I so emotionally invested in a naked heroin junkie
Yeah,
trying
man.
to shoot his way out of a mob? This thing, and it's brilliant. It's so amazing. Again, goosebumps.
Also
goosebumps
the
just thinking about it.
crazy train sequence.
Yes, Blame the train, blame the mono.
train. That
Blame
was
the
that,
mono.
that,
That was
was
insane.
That scared. Again, that's
There's so much.
That's
I was
the fear, right?
terrified,
Like if
yeah.
you invested so much into some text and you feel
Yeah.
like it being completely shattered, like Riverdale is so shit. It's like Gossip Girl meets Archie comics, and there is True Blood also somewhere.
See,
It's
if
lurking.
you
I'm just waiting
keep-
for them to
no,
become zombies at some point.
it's not True
It's
Blood.
so shit.
It's not.
It's not True Blood.
Not. Yeah.
That's
But
not
It's really bad.
take away from the
Yeah.
greatness of True Blood, which we'll get into.
But
But
Riverdale, have you guys seen
Riverdale
Riverdale?
I've seen the first two
doesn't
episodes.
need to be Archie comics. I don't know
It
why.
was
It is fully Archie comics, but
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
there is pop dates. There's
I'm okay
everything.
with all
It's
of that,
horrible.
but it's just that Riverdale feels like the sort of things where after the first draft of the script went to the studio, you know it came
It's
back
a
with
it's
notes
very
on every
cable.
page saying, make this darker, make this darker, make this grittier, and you're just like,
क्यों
But
पर?
why?
It's not even. It's not good cheese.
it's not exactly.
not
Good
good
cheese,
cheese.
you roll
Flash
with.
is good cheese.
The entire DC verse is great cheese because
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
this is cheese, but you
Yeah.
know what?
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
okay with it.
I'm
I'm
okay
buying
because
it.
It comes from the same places for me. The reason I love the DC TV verse to get
Yeah.
back into that. I'm not letting this go, guys. This is important. This matters. Is because look, when you're like growing up reading comics, it is unfathomable to you that one day there will be a TV series that is casually referencing Firestorm and the Trickster and like Supergirl, the Flash, and Arrow are just
Yeah,
and
they
the
play with
Atom
their
are just
emotions,
teaming
man.
up and just
Yeah.
getting together. And you're
Yeah.
like,